Hi, this is Taylor Otwell, and I'm back with another Laravel screencast. This is going to be the first screencast where we're taking a look at the upcoming Laravel version 4. Laravel 4 has a ton of great features, and I'm not going to be able to show you all of them in this screencast, so what I'm going to do is release a new screencast each day of this week, and each day I'll give you a sneak peek into a cool new feature of Laravel 4. And in this screencast, I wanted to start with just some of the basics, routing and views, and just give you a sense of what's changed and what's not changed in Laravel version 4. A lot of things are going to look the same to you, so right here I have my routes.php file. You can see this basically looks the exact same as Laravel 3, so if you're worried that everything is going to be different, it's really not. A lot of the syntax is unchanged, and if it is changed, it's very minor. And all the main classes you're used to are still there and still work essentially the same way. There's just a lot more robustness and power under the hood that I'm going to be showing you over the coming week. And as we get later into the week, I'll be showing you a lot of powerful unit testing capabilities, the built-in mail stuff. We'll talk about Composer. We'll talk about additions to Eloquent and all the cool new stuff there. We'll talk about the command line utility Artisan. Really just a ton of stuff. And today let's jump right into just some of the basics. Let me open up my terminal and show you that we can now check our version of Laravel right here in Artisan. And you can see I'm running Laravel Framework version 4.0.0. So this is the latest and greatest in the PHP world, and we're going to jump right in. And this is just our basic route. I'm just going to go ahead and just return hello world as a string here. And let's just hit this in our browser. Whoops. And you can see I've got hello world. And this works the exact same as it would in Laravel 1, 2, and 3. Nothing has changed here in terms of basic routing. We're just using route get to map a callback onto the root of the application. And nothing has changed. And one popular feature in Laravel is filters. They provide a really easy way to hook in a filter to say, for instance, if this user is not authenticated, let's redirect to the login screen. And they can really make implementing those situations really easy and really convenient for you. So let's define a basic filter. We're going to do it the same way we would in Laravel version 3. We'll just call it foo, and let's just return filtered here. Oops. And then let's go ahead and attach it to our route. We're going to do this again the same way as we would in Laravel version 3 with a before clause there. And okay, this looks good. We've got our before filter hooked up to foo, and our foo filter is defined as just returning filtered. And what this should do is when we hit the root of this application, instead of seeing hello world, we should see filtered now. Since our filter is returning a response, that response will be considered the response to the HTTP request we received. And this response, as usual, could be a redirect. It could be any form of response. So let's hit this in our browser. And we do get filtered as we would expect, so our filter is working correctly. Now, how is this improved in Laravel 4? And one of the big features in Laravel 4 is flexibility and testability. Your applications are going to be much more testable than they have in the past. The Laravel framework itself is much more tested than it has been in the past. Just the database component of Laravel 4, which includes Eloquent, the query builder, and the schema builder, has almost 600 tests individually. And all of the components are fully tested with 100% coverage, so you can rest assured that you're operating on a stable foundation here. And one part of testability is, or one aspect of testability that's been a little difficult in the past is testing some of these filters and composers. I don't know if you've run into this, but I've wanted to test these filters before, and it's a little difficult since they're registered as anonymous functions. It's difficult, one, to inject dependencies. So, for instance, if you have your database work behind some sort of repository class, it's difficult to inject that into this function, and not only that, it's difficult to mock it. So just in general, testability on these callbacks can be a little difficult. So one option you have in Laravel 4 is not to provide a callback, but to provide a string class name. So let's just call this foo filter instead of providing a callback. And what we need to do is define a foo filter class, and I already have one written here, so we don't have to wait through my typing. Let me just paste this in here. And take a look at this guy. You can see he has a filter function here, which is past the route and the request. And I'm doing the same thing as we did in our callback. I'm just returning filtered as a string. So it should operate the same way as our callback. The difference is in our unit test, we can new up an instance of this filter. We can inject dependencies. This to backtrack, this is resolved through the Laravel 3 or the Laravel 4 IOC container. So it's going to automatically inject your dependencies to give you full testability there. You can pass in mocks, and you can make sure this filter is behaving exactly how you want it to very easily. So we don't need to change anything here on our route. It's still just going to be before foo. And the only difference is we're passing in the foo filter string. So let's go ahead and hit this route, and we should see filtered just like we did with our closure callback. And we do. So this is working correctly. You can see this is just an easy way to get more testability out of your filters. It's an easy way really to organize filter logic. Instead of having one big filter file with all of your logic, you can break this up neatly into classes and organize your application a little better. Okay, you can do this type of behavior of passing in a string class on some of these closure parameters throughout the framework in several different places. This works for events, it works for view composers, which I want to show you right now. It works for mail, which I'll show you later in the week, which is going to totally rock your world. But for now, let's just take a look at View Composer. That's another basic feature of Laravel that I want to show you just to kind of get things rolling here on our first day of screencasts. And I'm going to define one for our hello view, which I already have ready. And it's going to be past the view, just like you would expect in Laravel 3. And I'm going to set the name parameter to Dale. We're going to make Dale happy. Dale is a popular community member in Laravel. And we're just going to set the name parameter on our view to Dale, and let's change our route to return that view. So we need to return the hello view, and we're going to remove this filter. This isn't needed anymore. And in hello.blade.php, you can say we're just saying hello name. This is a Blade template, so I'm using the handlebar style echo. And when we hit this route, we should see hello Dale if our view composer is hooked up correctly. So let's just give that a shot. And we do, hello Dale. So we're doing good here. Now here we have the same situation as we did in route filters. There's nothing necessarily wrong with designing your view composers this way if you're not concerned necessarily about testing everything very meticulously, or maybe it's just a simple composer that's just registering a few assets. There's no real logic you want to test here. But say you do, say you're pretty meticulous, you want to make sure this is working correctly, you need to unit test this composer. We're going to do basically the same thing we did in our filter. We're going to say hello composer as a class name instead of a callback. Let me go ahead and just define this guy here, hello composer. And we just need a compose method. We're going to be past the view just like our callback. We'll set our name to Taylor this time just so we can make sure our view changes, and that's really all there is to it. It works essentially the same as a callback, the only difference being we're doing it inside the compose function of a hello composer class. These are also resolved by the IOC container, so you have full dependency injection power here in terms of what the IOC container can do for you. And it's going to be really easy just to new this up in our test, call the compose method with a view or a mock view, and make sure that we're behaving correctly in here. Okay, so when we hit our route, we should see hello Taylor. All right, awesome. So our class-based view composer is working. This is going to give us a little more flexibility, a little more testability. Also, the same benefit as filters. We can organize our composers a little better if we want to, maybe make a composers folder. You just have a lot of flexibility here. There's no naming conventions here. Just because I name these foo filter and hello composer, those aren't necessarily conventions. That's just what I name them. And then we'll cover naming conventions in a later screencast. But here I just wanted to show you that, Laravel 4 brings a lot of power to the table, and it's not necessarily going to change the syntax all that much in your application, and you're still going to reap the benefit of a lot of great features. As we go on, you'll see a lot more great features in Laravel 4. As I said, I'll be releasing a new screencast each day of the week, and we'll dig into some more advanced features, Composer, Eloquent, the command line, and the new awesome mail utility. We'll dig into how we can integrate third-party utilities via Composer. And a ton of great features coming up, so stay tuned the remainder of this week, and I'll be back with 4 more screencasts, and who knows what we'll do next week. Maybe we'll do a few more.